Hi, my name is Max Rosenberg, if you don't remember me from class. But this is my video reflection for Pub Hall 146. Alright, so what did I learn as a result of the course? Well, I'll start off talking about um, some of the leadership theory that we read about and discussed. Um, I guess first, the most interesting part that I thought was the concept of followership. Uh, Coming out of high school, trying to get into a good college, everyone's told you gotta be a leader. You know, if you join a club, you gotta be president of the club. You have to have a leadership role, or else it doesn't count for anything. Um, and then when you get to a good college like Duke, everyone is a leader, and there are definitely issues in classes and projects and clubs where everyone thinks that they're the leader and they don't know how to take on the another role. And the idea of leadership that is supported by followership, I think, is one of the most important things that you can learn, because in the real world, it seems like 99% of people are partaking in followership behind one leader's ideas, and without the followership, the leader wouldn't have the tools he needs to achieve what he wants to achieve. So the difference between being a follower and followership, I think, is pretty critical, because when you're doing followership, you're not necessarily being a follower, which has a bad connotation. You're using the tools and the knowledge that you have to support someone else's ideas. Um, and I think that to prepare students for the real world, they have to know that they're likely going to be in a role of followership, and they have to know how to deal with that, and to listen to other people's ideas and things like that. Um, I also found the different kinds of leadership um, to be pretty eye-opening. When you're younger, the leaders are always described as the people that are really outgoing. They talk a lot. They they sort of command attention, but there are plenty of situations where you can be a leader and not have uh, that big appearance. You can lead in silent ways. You can lead by example, and I think that these are all things that people notice when they're younger, but they kind of think of it as not as good of a leader. But I think that it can be more effective in many ways to lead by example instead of telling someone what to do. When you tell someone what to do, you're taking a superior role to them, and that can have an effect on the person that you're trying to lead by either making them resent you for being the leader, or um, it can come off like you're, as a leader, better than whoever you're trying to lead. So leading by example, where you show what you're supposed to do, and then the benefits just present themselves without you having to explicitly say it. I think that's really important, especially for everyone that doesn't have the really outgoing personality, that they can be leaders and they can be just as effective as the people with these really strong personalities. So now I'll talk a little bit about what I learned from the group work. Uh, I really enjoyed working with Camille and Steve. There are plenty of classes that I've had group projects, and I really dreaded them and dreaded going to the meetings, and uh, it, that wasn't the case at all for this project. Um, I thought we all had different but compatible personalities, and because we all had the same goal of having a good project, and we all wanted to put in the time to make it good. Uh, we didn't have conflicting views on that part. It made it real easy, especially because none of us had an overbearing personality. We all knew that someone else could have a better idea than our own. So we all knew the importance of listening to everyone's ideas and not getting fixated on one particular idea as the best, because from the start, the middle, throughout our whole project, we were always changing our approach to try to improve it, and uh, not just in group projects, but in everything. You have to be flexible uh, with everything you do. When you find a better way to do it, there's no reason to uh, stay to continue doing it the way you were doing if it's better the new way. All right, so now what I'm going to reflect on what I see as my leadership strengths and challenges, and how I will take advantage of both in the future. So, I don't think I have a particularly strong personality. I don't think that I command that much attention just for my words. Uh, this doesn't mean that I'm not a leader, because my whole life I've been kind of the leader by example. From high school all the way through college. That's kind of been my go-to way of reaching people, by showing them the way to do something without telling them this is the way to do it. And uh, I think the best benefit of that has been people respecting my ideas, because I don't push them on them. It's they know that if I take the time to tell someone something, because I do it so rarely, they know that it's going to be important to listen to. And I guess a challenge or a weakness of my leadership is, I guess, being in large groups and having my voice heard. I feel like this is a challenge for a lot of people that aren't extremely outgoing. It's easy in a group of 3 to talk, because you only have 2 people listening. But when you have a group of 20 or 40 or 100 people listening and critiquing and coming up with better ideas, it's hard to put yourself out there and present ideas as your own, knowing that they could get shot down. So briefly describe my leadership philosophy and whether it has changed throughout this course. Well, clearly it's not the same. I've learned a tremendous amount from this course, but I do think that my leadership philosophy hasn't changed a great deal. It's more adapted and evolved. I always knew that you can lead by example, and I still think that's one of the best ways, especially for me, to try to reach people. But there are also certain types of personalities that, in order to reach, you have to explicitly state it, because those people sometimes they don't see examples, they only hear the ones that are stated. And this isn't a fault of theirs, it's just the way that their personality is. So yeah, adapting to the group that you're in and trying to be the best leader for the given situation. You know, there's no one way to lead, especially when you're talking about different groups of people, and it's uh, it's all about being flexible, being open minded, um, trying to come up with the best ideas as a team, and of all, uh, trying to better other people's ideas. Um, Describe 2 steps that I will take to continue to develop leadership in relationship with my organization and personally. Well, to continue leading my organization, club basketball, as a senior, I only have 1 semester left, so I guess that the best way to have a long-lasting positive impact would to be to kind of mentor either the juniors or the sophomores to take over my role and to be able to do it as good or better as I've done it. Um, my most major role has been getting more people to participate in club basketball, as well as um, showing them how to practice, how to be a good teammate, all the things that people who haven't been part of a team aren't aware of, and even people that have been part of the team, a lot of them think that they take a much more lackadaisical attitude towards it, which um, personally I don't have a problem with that because it is for fun, but there are kids that take offense to other players not taking it as seriously, and um, I know from experience in high school that if there's factions on a team, it's the team isn't going to be as successful, and uh, there can't be resentment between teammates. So to try to get the younger players who are going to be there next year and the year after to hold on, sorry about that. So to try to get the players to be able to set an example for the new freshmen coming in and the freshmen next year, and to continue to bring in good players, I think that's one way to develop my leadership. And personally, uh, working on talking in front of large groups. I've had a lot of practice this semester with a bunch of my classes, but I think that there's always room for improvement. To be more comfortable and more confident in what you're saying, and to try to evolve my leadership not just as a lead by example, but more as someone that commands attention in certain situations. I think that could be beneficial at times. Hope you find this interesting.